welcome back to the channel. Okay, I'm outside, get my boots on, because we gotta work in this garden. All right, dogs are outside. Oh, there they go. Crazy one and her baby. She loves that dog. They love each other. Sometimes they don't show it, but they do. Okay, all right, Jackson and I are getting ready to do some work. What are you fixing to do, Mildred? I see you, Mildred Ann. Jackson and I are fixing to do some work. We'll take you over here and show you what we're going to be working on right now. Okay. But before we do, can we just make some noise? Y'all, okay? These are broccoli. All of these are broccoli. I've got a bad leaf. I'm going to get that off. Those are all broccoli. All broccoli. I don't see anything happening yet, but they growing. Okay. These are all cabbage. Cabbage. I do have some weeding to do. I got to get in here and weed. Okay. I'm going to try my best. Oh, I got jalapenos. I got jalapenos still growing. Goodness. There's some good ones on there. And then, but they're coming to the end because I think it's getting cool nights. So some of these leaves are, you know, coming to the end. And then I've got some dragon peppers. I'm going to get those off. I was going to try to save these little ones, but I'm not sure that they will save. So I'm going to get those out. There are jalapenos on this. Now, here is what I'm going to be working on today. So our greenhouse used to be right here. Well, what I realized is we have this soaker hose going this way, and it was watering the greenhouse, right? The slabs that were there for the greenhouse. But this could be usable garden space. So I just got a garden bed that was sent to us by a specific company, and we're going to actually install that bed here so that we can work on utilizing this space. I don't need space here just to be space. All right, so let's go back over here. I do need to spray because I've got something is eating up my kale, right? Okay, I've got kale and it is coming in, but I've got some little critters that are eating them, and I don't want no smoke, so I'm gonna get these little ones off. This is a kale plant as well, right? Okay, something is eating it, and then that's kale as well, and then yeah, that one too. So I'm gonna make sure that I get those bad ones out, and I'll come through and weed. And then I have some cabbage, right? So I've got some leaves that are being chomped on a little. So we'll spray. We'll spray to keep, you know, the bugs down. Oh, look, I've got peppers here. But again, because of the cold weather, my peppers, the plants are starting to go bad. All of these need to come off. And I was out of town for a couple of days, and my kids don't think about coming out to the garden unless I'm out here. So I'm going to pull all these, and then, of course, I've got more cabbage plants. Oh, no! Oh, my zucchinis! They must have got too cold. Oh, no. Y'all, how hurtful is that? Oh no. Whatever. Okay. My zucchinis, which I had some bulbs on. I had some. Must have got too cold out here. And now I have this one. So we'll pull all this. We'll pull all this and we'll plant something else. But over here, I've got plenty of lettuce, and I have stuff for salad. So I'm gonna pull, we did the cut and come again, and so it has grown back, right? So we're gonna do the cut and come again, just so that we can have a continual harvest of lettuce. And then I am gonna see what else I have to plant. All this is lettuce, all this is lettuce. Some of that's kind of a little bad, but we will harvest what we can. I'm going to put that zucchini right there. I'll come back for it. But all of this is lettuce. No, ma'am. So we'll come back for this. And then I want to definitely get some planting. Get that, raised bed up here. I would just like to thank this company for sending us this 11-inch tall 8x2 metal raised garden bed. Now, we like raised beds. What I'm finding is that my garden does extremely better when I use a raised garden bed. Now, if you can see off to the right-hand side, we have a Vegega raised garden bed. It's way taller than the 11-inch tall. And we're putting up an 11-inch tall garden bed in that back space. So in just a few minutes, you'll see a different view of this garden bed. But I wanted to just kind of give you some thoughts of the differences between the two. One of the things that I do like is a shorter garden bed because it takes less soil to fill, which was definitely helpful for us. What we did notice was, and I say we like I helped to put this together because Jackson is our bed putter together, is that this took a lot less time and a lot less people. When we put together the Vegega garden bed, it took all three of us to help get it together. Jackson only needed my help for one specific thing, and I don't think he even really needed my help. He just indulges Mom when I'm trying to do things in the garden. So like I said, in just a second, you're going to see a up-close view that will give you a better shot of what we did. And of course, we don't have a guard dog. We have a garden dog. Well, we have one guard dog and one garden dog. That would be Gwen, who tries to eat everything that she can possibly eat, anywhere she can possibly eat it. And this is her life, right? This is the life that she lives. She's here for it, all the things. But so Jackson, we picked the green, which we wanted to keep the garden the same. Now, this Vegega, this garden bed can be used on regular soil. You can use this on garden fabric. You can use this where we have mulch in our garden, so it worked out pretty well. But it was a lot less pieces to put together, and we were able to put it together much quicker. It went up so quickly that I was like, oh my goodness. And Jackson was like, Mom, it took me 3.5 hours to put together the last bed. It did not take us this amount of time at all. We did have to do this kind of in stages simply because of the daylight savings time. And we get home so late in the evenings that we did do this over a couple of days. But that was 100% because of the amount of time we had in the garden with the daylight, because it is now daylight savings time. So this was a very simple install. It had the nuts, it had the bolts, it even had the little tightening tool that you use to tighten the nuts and bolts. And Jackson was able to, as you can see, sit in his chair and put together this garden bed. He's very super cash when he is doing these types of things. And this box was so much smaller, very portable and compact. We were able to move it around the garden with no problem. I picked it up from the pickup station with no issues. I carried it in, so it's very lightweight, but it is going to be able to do the things that it needs to do. You'll see in just a minute that I'm going to fill the bed prior to putting soil in it. It does come wrapped in plastic to keep the integrity of the paint and so that it does not chip. But here we are. Jackson put it together in 2 different pieces, and then he put in the support beams at the bottom. And yes, another cameo from the queen. And this is just to space out the garden bed as wide as we wanted it. Now, again, that was only a 2-person job. When we put together the other bed, there were 3 of us putting it together. So it worked out. And again, Jackson was able to get this done with really no problem. So here's how I can tell it's another day. I got on a different shirt. So again, the only reason this took us multiple days was because of the daylight savings time. You can look on the video and see that it's kind of dusking outside. So it gets dark very early, before 5:30, and we really don't get home before 4 o'clock. But again, this did not take very long. And then once we got those two side pieces connected, there's just one more piece that we have to put in, and that is the closure piece on both ends. So there's two pieces that will close up both the ends. And so you can see where it is on the dirt. The bed is sitting on the dirt itself, and we're going to pre-fill that with some things so we don't have to use as much soil. This actually turned out so phenomenal for us. I was so very proud. Of course, here I am just working in the garden, but see how Jackson just puts those two pieces together. No problem. He's carrying the little nuts and bolts in his pocket, along with his little pocket tool, and he got it together in zippity dip time. Now, he was doing multiple things in the garden, so again, it took us a minute. But if you had an hour or two just on a Saturday, I don't even think it would have taken an hour to put it together. But we were doing this during the work week, and I'm working. They have school. We have prayer. I sing during the week, so a couple things just kept us from getting it together. This garden bed comes in 4 different colors. We chose the same color as the other garden bed that we have, which is like that army green kind of color. They do have a Black Friday special going on. If you buy 3 items, you get 20% off. There's a code on their website. You will also see a link for this particular garden bed that we got listed in the description box below. Please do click on our link. This is not a sponsored video, just a review. But we have already planted out this garden bed, which you'll see that as well. So Jackson's just putting together all the things. And this is the last piece that's going in. I think there's like 6 little nuts and screws that he had to use to connect the first piece to the second piece. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 10 pieces with 2 end pieces is 12 pieces of that 10-like structure, plus the 2 bars in the middle. So this was a very easy install. Again, this comes in 4 different colors, and you can move it around. He could have made it longer. I wanted a wider bed, so this will allow you to manipulate those pieces to make it longer. Less width, more length, if that's what you want. But I wanted the 2 feet across and 8 feet down, long ways. So that's how he fixed it for me. But you can manipulate this to be different sizes depending on your garden bed. We had the space, so that's what we did it this way, and it worked out for us just fine. So here's the bed all put together, and Jackson is just finishing up those last few minute things for me. Now, even though this is 11 inches tall, it still was tall enough for us to put in like yard stuffs. So we were going to be raking leaves anyway, and we just went ahead and put in some leaves, and we also put in some limbs just because we didn't want to have to buy as much garden soil, And we did have some soil that was just sitting in the yard that we used just to fill up the bed. You are going to see us fill up the bed with some good compost and some manure so that we're going to plant our items in very good soil. Lots of people always mention my kids being very good helpers. So Jackson was doing another project, and Alana was helping me with getting soil into that bed. I gave her an option. Did she want to do the dirt, or did she want to rake the leaves? She did not wish to rake the leaves, so that's how she ended up over here on soil. And Jackson for sure was working on some other project, but we have these trees in our backyard, and our neighbor has trees that come over onto our backyard, so I'm always raking up leaves. This is just a little bit of the area that Mr. Jerome would be coming to clean, but I was thinking, hey, I can at least get the leaves up. That way I am not going to have to spend that money. So here we are now. We've gotten all the leaves and the branches into the bed, and we're now just going to, I'm putting some raised bed garden soil into here. we're covering up that other soil that was on the other side. I put some Miracle Grow in there. Now, I don't do amendments like blood meal and bone meal and all that. I'm not sure about those, and so I may just have to learn. But this is where Jackson jumps in and helps Mom to get those things in. And then we did want to thank Miss Barb, I think, Miss Barb for sure, sent me some garlic. And we are getting our garlic planted into that bed. So that's what we put in that bed, was garlic, and I think we put some carrots and some other things. But anywho, just wanted to thank you for stopping by the video. Like it, share. We're going to leave a link down in the description box below for anyone who is interested in this garden bed. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.